Good morning. Good morning, everybody. It is Wednesday, the day after Election Day. And how is everybody doing? If you're joining live, if you're joining on the replay, please say hello. Please share where you're from. And I generally want to know how you are doing. You see, we are waking up right now to a realization of what the fabric of this country, if you live in America, but even if you don't, and you're watching what's happening in America from another country, we're waking up to a realization of what this country is about. And as a Black woman living in this country, being born and raised in this country, it's like high school. All right, you have a best friend in high school, and you think she's your best friend. And then you find out what she really thinks about you and what she's been saying about you behind your back. And you're hurt. You're devastated. You don't know if you could ever trust her again. And you're wondering, literally wondering, how did you not know that before? How did she get away with feeling that? And even now, like if you're at work and you think your coworkers like you and they admire you and they love the work that you do, and then you overhear something that they're really saying about you behind your back. If you've ever had this happen to you, either in high school or in a work situation where you found out what somebody really thought about you that wasn't favorable and you thought that they were your friend, put yes in the chat. Hey, Sunny, happy to see you as well, love. But put put yes in the chat or me in the chat that you know what it feels like to think that you have a friend or a colleague and that relationship is really, really good. And then you find out what they really think about you behind your back. Remember that feeling. Remember that feeling of knowing that, oh my God, they don't like me, or, they're not who I thought I was. Remember how you felt. And I don't know about you, but with me, when it's happened to me, I almost feel like I can't trust that person. I don't feel safe being real, being authentic, being vulnerable, being genuine with that person. I look at them differently now. And I think we can all agree we're experiencing that feeling in our country right now when we see the divide that has been created in America with the leadership that we currently have in place. And so I have the unique perspective of being privileged and being part of an oppressed community at the same time. I don't know how, I just lost my words for a few seconds. And it's a unique perspective to share things on. I remember in 2016 when Donald Trump got elected, that for me, it was disappointing. However, I remained hopeful and optimistic that maybe something good could come out of this. Because as an entrepreneur and as a business owner, I benefit from some of the tax advantages and the tax opportunities that we have to reduce our taxes by owning a business and by employing people. And I felt that was a good thing. And it put me in a place of privilege to see and know that it puts people who trade their time for money, who work for a W-2 at a more disadvantage. So part of my awakening has been to really notice where the privilege shows up in my life as well. Believe me, this is not one-sided. And so this time around, in seeing the divisiveness of our country, the us versus them, the haves versus the have-nots, and the little bones or treats that get thrown to underserved communities here and there to make you look good. And it's more of, in my opinion, a tokenism type of thing. But this is just my opinion. What I'm realizing is that a thriving economy is not going to end hate. A thriving economy is not going to increase kindness. A thriving economy is not going to bring this country together. A thriving economy alone will not do it. There's something that has to happen in our hearts and in our souls and in our intentions to bring this country together. There's something that has to happen on a deeper level of kindness, compassion, and understanding. And when you look at people who are influencers, who are in power, and who are in leadership, if they don't resonate to you in that level of content of character that can create a both and, a thriving economy, racial justice, equality, inclusion, and kindness and compassion, then you don't have the full package. And so what is your level of importance? What's important to you when it comes to leadership that you follow? And what's been hurtful to me as a Black woman is how the economy or the taxes or the all about me and what about my money and what about my advantages and what about my privileges have taken over the fact that we can be kind, loving human beings. I don't see that, and it's actually disappointing and frustrating to know that people put their own economic comfort over the compassion and unity of people less fortunate than them. And that's why your Black friends are not doing okay. Your Black friends are hurting. Your Black friends are scared because, listen, regardless of who wins, there's going to be an uptick of hate in this country, even more than we've already seen in the election. And this is my opinion, not fact. You can call it fake news if you want. But I believe that if Biden wins, the supporters on the other side are going to show more hate. And if Trump wins, there'll be more riots and protest from that side as well. And a lot of blame, a lot of accusation, and a further divisiveness of this country. And here's what I want to say about your privilege in experiencing this, because I've been seeing a lot of, regardless of who wins or what happens, I'm going to live my life and I'm going to be happy. And yes, that's well and good, but that's easy to say from a place of privilege. It's very easy to live your life as if the consequences of this election don't affect you. And listen, as a privileged person, I can go on and live my life, but there's a deeper knowing in me, like in high school, that knows that that person thinks that about me. They think I'm less than, or they don't like me, or they don't want to play with me, or they're pretending to be my friend to my face, but really deep down, they don't feel that way, because if they're in a clique or a community or a lunch table that's talking about me, they'll chime right in and won't defend me. And I thought we were friends. I'm feeling like I'm in high school right now, because when you see how close the margins are in this election, and it's a Batman thing. It's a good versus evil. That's how I see it. Even though I benefited from some of Trump's policies, that's not where my values lie. I'm happy to pay more taxes if it ends the hate and divisiveness, and if people get a fair opportunity and get treated with justice and equality. If the police stop targeting and profiling, killing our Black men and women, if we can have some the beginnings of real change. Look, this is a journey, and I don't expect to see it fully fulfilled in my lifetime. I'm already 60, and I was 8 when Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated. And he fought, and there were some changes created out of his leadership. But we haven't really gotten that far in the fabric of this country. You know, racism is so ingrained in this country that to speak against it, to vote against it, to use your voice and take action against it, you are labeled as un-American. And that is what's painful to me. If you cannot, listen, make America great again. Tell me when America was great and what made it great that we're trying to get back to. That's what I want to know. Is there kindness? Is there compassion? Is there a sense of unity? We're all in this together. Or is it, you know what? I got mine and I worked hard for mine, and you need to work hard and get yours. And I'm not saying that please don't hear that I am saying that your hard work and your struggle is not acknowledged and appreciated. That's not what I'm saying, but there's a part of what's happening in our country today that is a level of selfishness that is hurtful. Like, I'll bring it back to high school again. It's like maybe your friend chimed in with the people who were speaking against you because she was afraid that if she stood up and used her voice in defense of you, she would be ostracized from that group, or she would be made to feel bad, or she would be outcast. And so the need to fit in was more important than the need to do the right thing and defend someone that she called a friend. I see that playing out like a high school lunch counter in America today. And so what do we do? What do we do? How do we deal with the anxiety that we're feeling? How do we deal with the pain, the hurt, the discomfort, the unknowing, like, what can I do? You know, I'm hearing a lot of people talking about how they feel and the anxiety. I mean, my God, my poor husband last night was just not doing well at all. And you know what? We get to honor our feelings, but we also get to protect our mental energy and our physical stamina when we're going through these difficult times. So how do you deal? Well, number one, you need to be clear on what you're feeling and why you're feeling it. And really sit with that, because we're all products of a racist, systemic racist system, is what I'm trying to say. We're all a product of that. So what feelings are you feeling right now? I'm feeling like I'm the unpopular kid back in high school again, but also that I really just heard people that I thought were on my side talking shit against me behind my back. That's how I'm feeling right now. And so why are we feeling this way? What is coming up in us that's giving us that feeling? So that's the first thing, that we can help ourselves deal with the emotions of what's coming on. Then decide what you want to focus on, because what you focus on grows. So what would you like to focus on to number one, deal with your feelings, but also to put your energy towards, I think is the word I'm looking for, to put your energy towards. Do you want to put your energy towards the anxiety that you feel, the anger that you feel, the disappointment that you feel, the hurt that you feel? Or do you want to put your level of focus on how you can use your voice moving forward, how you can make a change, make a difference, have an impact, have influence in your circle, in your communities? Where do you want to focus that energy, and where do you feel that focus would be more effective? How can you generate energy for the level of focus that you need? Is the other question you need to ask yourself. I know for me yesterday, I did not watch the news until the end of the evening because my husband had it on. But I did not want to be in that energy of being anxious all day because I knew that I had clients to support and things to do that needed my energy for that. And so knowing when to um, expend energy or spend energy, I guess is the word I'm looking for, and when to generate more energy, when to replenish my energy, and to release some of the tension and stress is a very important part of my day. And so, how intentional are you when it comes to your energy? Because showing up afraid and frustrated and disappointed and angry and hurt and scared is not a way to make change. It's actually the fuel for change. But what energy are you bringing into your action? I think is what I'm trying to say, and I'm hoping I'm articulating it well. And the fourth thing is to be in committed action. What action steps can you take towards the area that you decided to focus on in this? And how committed will you be? Because here's the thing about privilege. You can move in and out of committed action at will. Whether you feel like doing something today, whether you feel like being in the fight, whether you feel like using your voice or you go back to yourself. And I'm not making you wrong for that. It is a byproduct of privilege. Just reading what white and white presenting people were saying on social media today about how they get to live their lives no matter what. Unfortunately, that's not true, and that's not a privilege for everyone. And I have to say, it is part of my privilege. I could ignore this and really focus on my business, my life, my dinner, what I'm going to eat. But there's a part of me that knows I have an opportunity to share my perspective that might be the catalyst to serve someone else. Like a story not shared doesn't serve. And your story, your perspective, your growth and your learning experiences can be what someone else needs to actually spark some committed action and focus in them. But all of this isn't easy. And I get that because there's that confusion. Well, what do I do? And how do I know what to focus on? And how do I know what to get clear on? I'm really confused right now. Do I reach out to my Black friends? Or do I just let them process their feelings? Because you know what? I know that there's a lot of people out there who don't want to put an extra burden on their friends of color right now, or their friends in other underserved communities, whether they be Indigenous people, whether they be part of the LGBTQ community. There's part of and women, oh my goodness, women. And to see how many people actually, by their votes, have a different point of view is like, wow, just wow. I mean, how many of you, and you can put me in the chat, are surprised about how close this election is? When you just thought really good would prevail over evil. And then you say, nah, evil has a pretty strong voice in this right now, and they want to win too. I mean, if you just woke up to that realization of what the fabric of this country really is, although you kind of knew and you were seeing it just from everything that's portrayed on the news and social media, I feel like, wow. There was Sally Field at the Academy Awards when she won that year, and remember, you like me, you really like me. I feel like, oh my God, you really don't like me, and I thought you did. And that's just what I'm going to be processing myself. But what is next for you? Do you know what's next for you? Are you confused at what's next for you? Do you need support and guidance in them figuring out what's next for you? Because I am called right now to help people on the journey to support a country that they want to see, that they want to live in, that their children want to live in, and to make the impact that they want to make in building a fabric in our country that we can be proud of. and that we can actually call great. So here's what I want you to do. If you really are serious about wanting some clarity, focus, energy, and committed action plan, is to go to talkwitheva.com. Just go to talkwitheva.com and let's you and I talk about what that would look like for you. If my words resonate with you, if you feel that I can actually support in this, because I know I can, I've done it for many of my clients, but I really want to give you a clear path on the steps to take to develop that clarity of focus and committed action and the energy needed to see this through and not just move in and out at will, which your privilege will have you do. So again, go to talkwitheva.com and let's set up a time to talk about how you can have the influence and impact in your life and communities as well, and how to deal with and process the myriad of feelings and confusion that's coming up in you. All right, guys, I will talk to you at talkwitheva.com. And please don't forget to put in the chat where you're from. And really, I want to know what you're experiencing the day after our election day. What kind of feelings did you go to bed with? And what kind of feelings did you wake up with? So I want to hear from you. And thank you for joining if you're watching live or on the replay. And I look forward to connecting with you in the future. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.